All right, so we're on live now. Welcome to Speakeasy. I'm Shannon.
Hey there, guys. Clutch here.
So Big Pig's already here. I can't say his name right. Isles G.
I say Isles G, yeah.
Isles G. He told a great joke right out the gates. He said, "All right, all right, all right," said the man with the left-sided stroke deficiency. I was like, "Oh no." Big Pig said, "Don't Canadians use metric time zone? They always got to mess things up." So I said, "You were on your way."
Metric time zone.
You're
Whatever.
So we're just doing a spontaneous talk today because we missed Sunday, and just remind everybody that you and I we have kind of like families and lives and things going on. I work full time, and sometimes things don't work out on Sundays exactly. So I had mentioned this, and you said it was a good idea. Like, if we can't do our regular Sunday talk, then I'll at least post a quick video or a short and let you guys know when we can probably talk again. But for the most part, we try to do this when we have the opportunity. That's all.
That was clear as mud.
Yeah, well,
I'm just teasing you.
What's
the weather like there for you?
It's getting like pretty gray, cloudy, but not. It's like it's not raining yet. But if you ever hear the phrase like it looks like it's trying to, that's what it feels like. Like I feel like I could look out there any minute now, and it's just going to start raining.
What's the actual temperature? Like, is it?
It's just around the 40s, so it's cold.
40.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Fahrenheit? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to convert that in my mind. I'm not very good at it.
Well, just above freezing. Let's say that.
Yeah, you're like +5 for us, something like that.
Right. So, have you had your snow yet?
We haven't really had very much snow. There's like not even a foot of snow on the ground here.
Not even a foot. That's snow. You still got snow though, right?
There is some snow, but I can see grass still in spots. Like and it's like tomorrow's going to be what it is for you today, like +3, +5. That's crazy for this time of year. Usually it's like
you should be
minus.
Right now.
Like, yeah, like -15, -20 would not be unheard of for this time of year, and you'd probably have a few feet of snow.
I think it's
a few feet.
How, like, in Canada, you get like 3 inches. You're like, that's not snow. That's just
no. That's not snow. That's a dusting.
Yeah, I'm all like, it's snow. You're like, nah, it's nothing.
No. Like when you have, when there's like a couple feet, or when you need like highways plowed because there's so much. That's snow.
That's snow. Okay. That in California.
Do you remember that picture I sent you like the first year I moved here, and it was like up to my chest high?
Yes.
Yeah, like that's snow, dude. That's snow.
On the road. I was like, oh my god.
Like, yeah. So this is like, man.
So do you think it's really going to hit you, though, in a few months? Like, it is going to...
Well, they say it's El Nino year, so that we're supposed to have a warmer winter.
It'll hardly snow.
But it's not... technically, it's still fall, right? Like, it's not really winter until, like the 21st or something?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And then it's like January, February here, that for me especially, is the worst months of the year. It's dark. It is starting to get lighter, like it's on that upswing, but you don't really notice it. There's nothing to look forward to. There's no more holidays. It's the coldest frickin' 2 months of the year here, is easily January, February. Like you get -40 temperatures, -50 with a wind chill.
Jeez.
Like this, dude, it's brutal. You don't want to, sometimes you don't go outside for days because it's like, -30, wind chills -40. You're like, what? I'm not, unless you have to, you don't go out.
I remember you said that, like, you try to prepare all the firewood before you go outside or before winter because you don't even want to be out there chopping wood. It could kill you.
Fuck no. Yeah, I'm not going out and chopping. No, like all our wood was cut and split and stacked by the end of October.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't mess around with, like, you can't.
Right. Big Pig said, no, that's an avalanche. I think when you were talking about the 3 feet of snow or more.
Or, yeah, well, up to my chest, that's not 3 feet.
Yeah.
I'm like the size of Joe Rogan.
No, we are expecting a lot of snow this year. Like everybody that I talked to said here in the area, it's supposed to get bad. I don't know what bad means in this area yet because I haven't experienced winter here, but they're like, do y'all know how to drive in the snow? And I'm like, yes, but it's a dry snow. So it's like icy, the stuff that just blows across the road, and it's just
wet snow is much tougher.
That's what they said. So
yeah.
I got to be careful because there's a lot of hills around here too. Nevada's flat.
Heck yeah.
So we're gonna see. What happens.
I don't think you're gonna get like. I bet you if you guys get a foot of snow, that's gonna be like an insane amount. And I'm talking accumulation over the year. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't know. Like I've never been there, but I can only imagine. You're pretty far south.
Well, I don't even understand the whole El Nino thing. I mean, does it just mean that I thought that it meant that we're going to have a real warm fall and then a very rough winter? But if
there's El Nino and El Nina, there's two of them. One means like it's going to be rough, and one means it's going to be not rough.
Okay. So are we in for the one that's not rough?
Well, that's what I understood, that the weather pattern this year for North America was it's going to be a mild winter.
Maybe that's what
it could be
the area.
You could have, like, just because it's mild temperatures though, you still could have a lot of snow. Like it actually snows more when it's warm.
Oh, okay.
Like when it's minus 30, we're not getting snow. It's just fucking cold as shit, but it's not snowing. It snows when it's like minus 10, minus 15. That's when when it's a little warmer.
There gets to be a point where it's too cold to snow.
Yeah, like it doesn't snow in the Arctic.
Oh, okay. I see. Now I kind of understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Isles G said the rough part about burning wood is you move it like 9 times. Cut it, chop it, stack it, bring it into the fireplace, shovel it out of the fireplace. It's not easy work. It is not very redundant.
And we just stack it once. Like we have it delivered and we cut and split, but we have machines to do that. But then we just stack it right inside our house. Like we don't even stack it outside anymore. It's stupid because, like he said, then you got to bring it from outside. You got to bring it in again, and you're constantly So we just like half our basement is just wood.
Practically chop it up.
Yeah, just like it's just right to the roof of wood. Yeah, like why not?
And Greg said around that area, you spoke like probably a foot or 2 is possible at any time this time of year. So I think Greg's like only 4 or 5 hours south of me, maybe a little more.
And where is he? Carolina?
One of the Carolinas, right, Greg?
Yeah.
I think so. So
yeah.
I have to go through Virginia first and then further south. So maybe a little bit further. I have noticed that, like in Nevada, if I wanted to go east from where I used to live, it would take 9 hours. If I wanted to go south to get to Las Vegas, it would take 9.5 hours. Here, I could drive 3 hours north and be in a different state, another hour past that and be in another state. And it's like the states are a lot smaller over here. So I feel like, I could be visiting somebody.
That's how it is here. Like if you would drive across my province, just like at the shortest width, it's probably going to take you, probably 10 hours to drive the whole width of the province. But if you went north to south, like you couldn't even do it, dude. Like there's no more roads. You have to fly at a certain point. But if you could do it, it would be like, it would probably take you like 40 hours, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It's huge.
Yeah, I've seen the layout of Canada. You're just like long stripes.
Yeah.
Up in north and south. And
like, we have polar bears in the north of this province. Like, actual polar bears, dude. People fly there and like go hang out and view them.
Oh my God.
Just for fun. Yeah.
They're so beautiful. Let's pet them.
It's the biggest, most vicious bear there is, and they don't eat. They only eat meat. So if they see you, they're going to eat you. Like they don't. Yeah, like black bears, they might not mess with you, and they're not even that big. Like you have a better chance against a black bear, but polar bear is bigger than a grizzly bear, dude. Bigger than a grizzly bear. Can you imagine that? It's just a big killing machine. It's a monster. It's a monster.
I've seen the taxidermies or the statues of polar bears, and it was like,
they're freaking huge, man.
Yeah, standing up, and I was like, oh my God. I've seen documentaries where these polar bears, you're right, they don't eat. They will travel and swim for like miles to find like a roosting area for walruses, and like risk their life and death just to eat a walrus.
And they'll fight a walrus, man. They'll kill a walrus. Do you know how big a walrus is? Like, they're almost 20 feet long and, like, I think a ton, maybe more. That's huge.
Absolutely. I've seen those on those nature channels, and I'm like, I couldn't even...
And a polar bear got no fear of that. He'll just fucking, I'll eat you.
Yeah. Come over here, fatty.
Crazy, man. Up there, they don't even lock their doors. Like, no one locks their car doors. No one locks their, like, I'm talking like Churchill, like way up north. Like, you have to fly there.
I mean, aren't most...
No, it's not that. It's the polar bears. If they see a polar bear, they need to be able to get away from it. I'm not joking. They have polar bears come into their town there, and they'll mess you up.
Let's see here. Hold on. 30 minutes or less south of Virginia. West Virginia gets snow. You may get a foot overnight easy at times. Well, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see the snow. I know I sound crazy, but I love the snow. So I'm ready.
Oh, I get I don't even mind it too. It's not, if it was shorter for us, it would be much better and less cold. Like where you are, I could take that in my t-shirt and I'd be fine. Like, cool, let's do it.
That's right. You were in your t-shirt last week.
I showed you, the Mexican chef. I was outside in a t-shirt just showing you that shit.
What's that?
I was just showing you. You could walk around in a t-shirt. It was crazy. You could see snow on the ground, but there wasn't much.
You're like, that's not snow.
No.
I like it so far. The thing that I really enjoy about this area is where we would go for like 5, maybe 6, even like 8 to 9 months and not see any rain. And then once you get rain in Nevada, it's like for about 30 minutes and then it's gone again for 2 more months. And you're just like, it's so here. It's kind of like, pick a day. It'll be raining like every other 2-3 days.
It's beautiful where you are.
I love it. it.
Yeah, the scenery's nice. But I couldn't like a lot of people like to go to BC for us, but I couldn't live there because it's like that. It's always raining. It's the West Coast, right? There's no sun. I can handle the rain, like especially in the summer. Sometimes you even want it to rain, but I can't handle it when it's like days and days of that. That makes me, I get like.
I think what we didn't like about Washington State, I didn't like it when I was young. Now I would appreciate it a little more. It wasn't just so much rain all the time, but it was also like just you don't see the sun that often. In the summertime you see it a little more, but for the most part, it's cloudy, it's foggy, it's like kind of a humid, wet cold,
Ugh. Horrible.
Yeah, and it is kind
We
of
get,
depressing, and
yeah, it is depressing.
suicide rates go up and stuff in that kind of weather. So
here you get sun. It's short. Like we only have sun like 7:30 to like 4:30, something like that. But you'll have sun. You'll have very sunny, clear days. So, but yeah, there's a thing out here called, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called SAD, and I know like it's an acronym for seasonal affective disorder, I believe it stands for. And it's just like it gets so dark here for so long. It's the same thing. People kill themselves. People get depressed and kill themselves. You can't, a lot of times, especially when it's super cold, you can't go outside. It's dark. And yeah, people just can't handle it, and they just take themselves out.
It is called seasonal affective disorder. It's a mood disorder subset. And it's more than 3 million cases per year in the U.S. alone. Often requires a lab test or imaging. I mean,
I think it's a lack of vitamin D. I think that's what causes it. And I think they might even put you under a special lamp to help cure some people of it.
They have those lamps and light bulbs that actually like simulate the sun.
That's right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I just make sure I try to get outside at least, once a day and just breathe some outside air, get some sun, because it can really mess with you, dude.
Yeah. I was going to say, I had a friend that had a strange, not an alarm clock, but it's like a waking up system. She actually had a lamp in kind of at her bedside table, but it was right above her head. And at a certain time, it would slowly start to dim on. And it was like a natural sunlight. And it was supposed to wake her up naturally, quote unquote. And she swore it worked. I just don't think I could do that unless I had some alarm going off, some noise.
I don't know. Like here in the summer, 5, 6 in the morning, it's already very like you got sun and you wake up from it. But in the winter, it's like dark and and it's cold. You do not want to get up.
Go back to sleep.
Yeah, like especially if if you got wood heat or something and you haven't had the fire on in the night.
Oh yeah.
My God, it's cold.
You don't feel like getting up when it's cold.
No.
Joe Morgan's joining us. Joe is always here. He said, "Yeah, to hell with all this cold, damp shit in Idaho. I'm over it." He'd go crackers in the winter.
Idaho, yeah. It probably gets pretty cold. It's pretty north. It's like touching Montana, I think, right?
Yep, Montana and Canada.
I don't think Idaho touches Canada.
Wait a minute. Oh, geez.
I think it touches...
loud? Okay.
I think it touches Montana and maybe Washington.
Well, Washington, Oregon on one side, and then
Montana on the north.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know
below it is Nevada and Utah. But yeah, it does touch the border of Canada. There's a
Idaho does?
Yeah. Very, very
really,
point. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's still West Coast. Like that's for Canada, it's still even considered warm.
Yeah, it is. It's also
like it doesn't get that bad there
too. So it's close to a mountain range.
Snowy though, yeah, it could get very snowy there.
I had a friend that was stationed there in the Air Force, and I can't remember which town it was. I want to say Coeur d'Alene, but he said they straight up had KKK marches, and like kind of like how Oktoberfest and people close down the street and celebrate. They kind of had their own little shindig.
Right on. That's a hell of a party. Where are white women at?
That's what I was about to go there.
Like, yeah, you remember in Blazing Saddles?
Oh, brother, you got some soot on your hands. Look at their
his hands were dirty. That movie is the best. I love that movie.
That was the sheriff is near.
I love how they end it too. How like they end up going to Hollywood and like it's just so It's like meta, right? It's like all of a sudden they're watching their own movie.
Well, that was the part that kind of tripped me out. I kind of got to the point where I was like, wait a minute, what is happening here?
They do the same thing in Monty Python, Holy Grail. At the end, everybody just gets arrested. Because at the beginning, a knight goes by and chops this dude's head off. And then at the end, they all get arrested for murder. And that's the end.
I've got to see it again. It's been years.
I've seen that movie like 18 times, dude. Maybe more. I love it so much.
We were just kind of doing our own thing last night. Bobby and he's playing on the PS4 and I don't remember what I was doing, but he had a great.
Is he training? Is he training? Is Bobby training?
For what? Yeah.
For when I beat him in baseball.
Oh, listen to you. Training for what? No. When I beat him. See, the trash talking starts.
With the Jays yet. I'm going to beat him with the Jays.
No. Oh my God.
Oh.
he's editing all the football teams on Madden game. So he's doing that. So we decided it would be fun to put on one of our favorite movies and just listen to it in the background. Right?
Okay, what is that?
We ended up picking A Christmas Carol, the one with George C. Scott.
Oh, okay. I still haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen that? That was pretty good. But I'm not gonna lie, my favorite's the 1951 Alastair Sims. That's
the best one. Yeah.
It is. This one. Okay, I gotta share the screen. I'm on a roll right now, so you'll have to.
Let me see. I'll look.
Entire screen. I'm gonna share it. This part right here, I have the sound off though. It's toward the end.
Interesting. Before you, I just seen a news update saying, breaking, Zelensky moving to the U.S.
Oh God, that's just what we needed. More shit.
It just shows how he's running away from his own country there.
Yeah. Can we talk about that? Okay.
Why not?
I don't know. Hold on. Okay. So I'm just like aching to share this part. This is my favorite part in any movie I've ever seen. Okay. This is the end, right? Where he tells Cratchit that he's not going to stand for this any longer, right?
And then I know.
He says, I'll have to raise your salary. And that face, look at Cratchit's face, is the only thing that makes my entire day. Look at this. And
he's like freaking out. Like, is this guy high? Is he having a stroke?
And Scrooge is just having a great day. He's laughing, and then it comes around, and then it becomes, sentimental. But that face of Cratchit, I will never find a better part of a movie than that. Just that. What's happening?
Awesome.
He realized he was in the Matrix.
I started watching those again with my kid.
Yes.
We watched 1 and 2 so far.
1 and 2.
I haven't seen the 4th one, like the newest one. I heard bad stuff about it, but.
Wait, The Matrix?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Keanu?
Yeah. I totally know what you mean. Okay. I only really got into the first, maybe the second. I think I've seen parts of the 3rd and 4th just as clips, but
I've never seen the 4th.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
The 4th just came out though, you know that, right? Like a year ago. Maybe a year ago. Yeah, something like that.
I just see some clips on YouTube and I'm like, meh. It just looks like it's a mess.
The first one blew my mind.
Yes.
Especially I watched it when it first came out.
In the theater?
And I didn't see it in the theater, but what we did see, I lived in a house at the time with a bunch of guys. We were all going to like college, and this one guy, I'll just say his first name was Mike. And he was like the type of guy who he had to have the best of everything. Like, and one time he was like showing us his awesome stereo system in in his truck, and we like bugged him and said he didn't have a flux capacitor, and he's like, yeah, I'm getting one of those, and like he never even knew what the best stuff was. He's one of those guys. Anyways, he bought like, and this was when this was just started, like a real big flat screen TV and a crazy surround sound system that was like, you could hear the bullets drop and hit the ground. You could hear like every little sound. Wow. And it just blew us away. Like it was a good system, and it was awesome to watch it on there. And I'd never seen any kind of movie like that at all, right? Like it really, yeah, it blew my mind.
You know what movie was like state of the art when we were, oh God, I'm going to date myself, I think. But when we were in like junior high, I think it was when the first kind of like IMAX came out. It wasn't even 3D. It was like the curved screen, you know? And we all wanted to go see The Terminator or some shit like that. It was one of the Terminators, and I could swear it was the first one. And we sat like third from the front, and we were just like, oh my God, the special effects are amazing. And we were just so like, this is good.
Terminator is good. Like those first two,
yeah,
those are good.
Yeah, they were, we really
even two, it. Like two holds up to this day. I still watch it. I like it.
I liked the actor that played like the Liquid. Oh, what's his name? I know.
Patrick
Yes.
Warburton? No. Something.
Yeah.
Patrick something.
I gotta say though, I mean, when they brought in the blonde girl to be one of the Terminators, that was a little freaky because, you know, she had that serious look the whole time, and I'm just like, wow. But I still kind of feel like, you know, when we went and saw that first one in that screen, and, you know, the IMAX, it was the most amazing experience at the time. So we can never.
The only movie I saw at IMAX that wasn't like a nature film, or like there was one Touch the Universe. I remember that was a big one. The only one I ever seen that was like a fictional film was the Batman Dark Knight.
Oh. Yeah, that was,
and it was filmed specifically for, like, a lot of movies that you might have seen earlier on the IMAX screen weren't filmed in that IMAX. It gets a bigger camera. It has a bigger size film.
Really?
So yeah, so this one was filmed specifically for that. Like they used IMAX cameras, so it was awesome.
I never got to see it in the theater, so I feel like I kind of missed that. But that's
the one where that guy went all crazy and pop unalived a bunch of people. Was the Dark Knight one?
Oh yeah. Why is everybody saying unalive so much now? It is driving.
Because you're not supposed to say. You can't say the other word.
What?
Yeah, it's double speak.
Like you're not allowed to say it. Like, will we get?
You can't say like. I think. Anyways, well, fuck it. I'll just say it. I think you're not supposed to say suicide or killed. I think the algorithm will pick it up.
End stream.
Apparently, too. I don't know if this is true, but if you can go like 5-10 minutes at the beginning of your stream without saying anything controversial, then it'll leave you alone.
Oh, okay.
That it doesn't go past that. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I've heard.
Let's test it out. No, I'm kidding.
Dirty Jews? No, just kidding.
No, listen to the envelope. Let's see. I gotta catch up with comments, dude. I haven't looked over.
Excuse me. I might be getting a cold.
Oh well, it is. You have an excuse. It is cold up there. Joe said I can handle the cold. That's one thing, but by January it's so cold, and we have maybe 4 hours of daylight, if that. So he kind of has
same thing, buddy.
Yep. Mama L joined us. She is
I don't know who that is.
She's a roommate with Isles G.
Oh.
And she said hello. They're
hello.
hanging out watching the live stream on TV. Joe Morgan convert.
Sorry, it's such a boring one.
What? Oh. Well, we'll talk about some 80s movies and shit in a little bit. See, Joe confirms Idaho's touching Canada and Washington and Oregon. Let's see. Yeah, Aryan nations were all over back until about year 2000. Our cabin was next to their old campground. Oh, jeez, Joe.
Good times.
I know. I was gonna say. Big Pig said Spaceballs. The fasted forwarded beyond where they were. They had to rewind. The fasted forwarded makes it funnier. Oh, Joe, and the Super Soda Jerk is joining us, and
that's the guy who likes to listen to it in his garage. I think.
Is it?
I remember. I think you told me that. I thought it was.
I don't remember that, but Richard G said, "What's up?"
Oh, Richard. I like that guy. He's a fellow Canadian.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay. I think I remember you guys called him. He had a different name before, didn't he?
I think he went by E.T. Expeditious
That's
Truth.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, now I know who you are, Richard. I got you.
He keeps switching back and forth. I'm not sure why.
That's all right. I would too. Let's see here. I'm sharing a screen again. Because I feel like this part right here. Here
What's
you go.
that?
Big Pig. Where is he? This is that part. I can't play the sound because it'll mute it out, but
yeah, we'll get copyright.
The video. And then they're fast forward, and then doesn't he like get to the part where he flies into the console? Rick Moranis is like, in fact, never play that part again. Look at his face. He's all like, oh. He's like, go past this part. In fact, never play that again.
It takes a sip of coffee.
I have to admit, Rick Moranis killed it with this part. And there it is.
I think he's a Canadian too.
I think so. Didn't they make a movie?
I think like him. Oh, there is a movie with him and
somebody
and
else.
Dave Thomas. Dave Thomas. It's The Great White North.
Or they.
It's Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Oh, he's like,
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
I've got to look it up now.
Bob and Doug.
What is it?
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Bob. Doug McKenzie. There it is. Yeah.
That's a twofer, eh?
Look at them. They were so young. Look at this guy.
Now that's some funny shit.
Is this what you look like, dude?
Yeah, like the guy on the right. Yeah. Same toque and everything.
This is clutch.
Except I have a beard.
Face, dude. Oh, man. Yes, that's awesome. Okay.
Bunch of hosers. No one says that, eh? Then we might say eh, but...
I heard that. I heard hosers.
No one says hosers. I've never heard anyone ever say you're a hoser, ever.
Really? I have
never
heard that. But I can't remember where. That's old school Canadian.
Now, I'll say this, though. Like, Canada, like the U.S., we have regions. So, like, people speak different in the central part of Canada than the East Coast or the West Coast. And if you go to, like, Newfoundland, they sound fucking crazy. I don't know if you ever heard a Newfoundlander, but that is some weird shit.
I think we call it Newfoundland.
It sounds sort of like Big Pig, except add like a sea-going theme to it.
Big
I'm
Pig.
not even...
Hold on. I'm looking up you call it Newfoundland.
Newfoundland, yeah.
I call it Newfoundland. It's in the
Newfoundland.
Saskatchewan province.
What? Saskatchewan? No, Newfoundland is on the East Coast.
Oh, well, there's a Newfoundland Rockinville in Saskatchewan, Canada.
I never heard of that place.
I
heard of Saskatchewan, but never Newfoundland, Saskatchewan.
Okay. I'm like, I hope you've heard of Saskatchewan. Yeah. Then once you get past your territories, you have Nunavut,
Yeah.
Nunavut, and
Northwest and Yukon.
Right. Okay, so I'm looking at this stuff and nobody.
Look, go all the way to the east, and you'll see Newfoundland. That's that's called the Maritime Provinces. Okay. Nova Scotia, Halifax, Prince Edward Island.
So
and they sound like a bunch of weird sailors out there. Like.
So you're looking.
And if you want to get tripped out, there used to be the French settled there a long time ago, and they were called the Acadians. And they got kicked out of there, and they moved all the way south to Louisiana and like the Bayou and all that area. And that's why they talk like that, and that's where the French comes from. Was from those motherfuckers called the Acadians.
Really?
That's how it got. Check it out. Check out the history of that.
Tell us how you really feel. Okay, I found it. This one. To me it looks like Newfoundland. I'm not.
Yeah, Newfoundland.
Yeah, okay, Newfoundland. Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. Hey, do you say Calgary? Do you say Calgary or do you say Calgary?
I don't.
Because I say Calgary, and anyone who says Calgary pisses me off.
Well, is it the French influence, though? Because, dude, my mom's first language was French, and she used to say the weirdest things, like, instead of refrigerator, she would call it the refrigerator. And I'm
no, that's weird.
That's
fucking weird. I never heard that shit before.
Develop the film, and I'm like, develop the film? You know, it was like
one thing I notice about like Canadians and Americans though is even the Canadians here who don't speak French, which is most of us. If we see a French word, we'll say it the French way, like chalet or la Jamodier or Benoit. But when the Americans say it, they're like Benoit or some weird like pronunciation. Instead of chalet, it'll be chalet or something like that.
What's the what's that dish with the French fries and the gravy?
Poutine?
Poutine, yeah. I was calling it something else, and a friend of mine, Blue, she's Canadian as well. She heard me call it something different because you typed it out. And I was calling it like Bhutan or something like that. And she's like, what are you saying? And I was like,
what?
And she's like, you mean Bhutan or something? And yeah, it was.
That is the most sacred Canadian dish.
Sacred.
We have that at our special lodge meetings.
Angels sing when you pour that gravy on. It's
that's right. Canadian angels.
Yes. So it's more like,
hey. Hey.
Oh my God. Let's see. Big Pig says an A to it. We add to an A to it. And Richard says Newfoundland, I'm going to stumble with this damn word from now on, is like the Fargo of Canada.
Check it out. Like, go to a Newfoundland accent. I must be someone on frickin' the internet talking, and you'll hear it's weird.
I don't know if it'll let me play.
For sure it will.
Sound, but you know what? Let's try it.
If it's not a copyrighted video, why not? If it's just like some random free to go.
I found something here. Hold on. So
that's where I cut off all your comments here.
Let's see. We could play this one.
Oh, this guy looks like gold. Oh, I can't hear anything.
What? Can you hear that?
No.
Oh.
That's a real bummer.
Oh.
I encourage anyone to go and listen to that video.
All I'm sure I put in Newfoundland accent, and this guy came up. In the first 2 sentences out of his mouth, I can't even understand him.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. It's like almost Irish, like real thick Irish, but I don't know what it is. It's
Irish,
weird.
Scottish, French.
Yeah, mixed into a jumble of, I don't know.
Well, that's like That's like, I never knew that there was a language that was kind of gypsy talk until I saw that movie Snatch, where they talked about
I love that.
Yeah. And he
No,
said,
no.
yeah. And he even
Yeah.
says it. He says it's not Irish, it's not Scottish, it's just their own
It's just
kind of talk.
gypsy.
Yeah.
Yes, slang.
Um,
Absolutely.
Richard G says Nova Scotia means New Scotland. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And Isles G, you love my energy, just like Mama L. You could be a paid stand-up comedy audience member. You know, I just have to laugh at myself because my sheer obliviousness sometimes, and I just feel like, you know, there are things I didn't know in life, and I just, you know, I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that. Thank you, LP. We got the history lesson from Clutch. Yeah, thanks for the history lesson. Acadians were badass. Richard said they were badass.
I like to leave people with a little bit of knowledge every time.
Yeah.
I always have an interesting fact for you.
Well, it's just like one of our first talks. Didn't we call it that? The more you know, with the rainbow. Chris Jericho called Chris Benoit. They both Canadian. I didn't know that.
Jericho grew up in Winnipeg.
Chris Jericho did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know him? No.
No, I seen his band play here.
Oh.
It was a wild night. That's all I could tell you.
I was going to say, do you remember it?
I remember hanging my head out a truck and puking while I was driving.
Okay, I'm going to have a confession only because Fiber Oats chimed in.
Okay.
And I have to say, I'm with you, Fiber. Who's Chris Jericho?
He's a wrestler.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So is Chris Benoit. They're both wrestlers.
That's
Benoit is infamous, though. Like Jericho, he's been a champion in a bunch of different organizations. People like him. He's a pretty popular guy. Benoit was he was considered one of the best technical wrestlers. Like, a wrestler could be a showman. He could be a technical guy. There's all different types and styles, right? He could be a showboat. There's different, he might just be good on the mic, and that's his whole gimmick. But this guy was just a killer and really technical. But he went crazy, had so many concussions, and he went crazy. He took his wife and kid out and himself all in the same weekend.
Oh, take out as in unalive?
Yeah, I don't mean for dinner and ice cream.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
Yeah, so his whole, he was highly decorated and talked about. He was Hall of Fame material, but now people don't like to talk about him or say anything, right?
Yeah,
he's tarnished now. Yeah, it got real dark real quick, yeah.
Wow. I have to admit, when Fiber Oats asked who's Chris Jericho and who's Benoit, I was kind of glad. I was like, oh good, I'm not the only one that's a little lost here.
Well, you covered like you did know them, so that's fine. But
nice.
But fair enough. Like, why would you guys know them? I don't even.
Well,
yeah.
Big Pig, he was right there with you. Let me back up a little bit. Isles G asked, what's our view on the elusive Sasquatch? So we'll put that on the back burner because.
Oh, I want to talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. But then here's the funny part. Fiber Oats was like, who's Chris Jericho? Who's Benoit? Richard said, Raw is war. And
nice.
Here goes Greg. He said he is the GOAT. Clutch will get this. Drink it in, man. In quote.
Look, champagne.
Oh, okay. And then Big Pig said Benoit offed his family. So he said that right about when you were telling the story.
Yeah.
And Richard said it's too bad he was one of the best of all time. Big Pig said pain pills, headshot, steroids, ate his brain up.
That's right. When they did a study of his brain, and it was something like a 90-year-old guy with dementia. It was that bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was all
Okay.
riddled.
That's sad, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Fibro said drugs are bad, okay? And
Okay.
and yellow boots.
Yellow boots?
I don't know. He said, and
I don't get that.
I wrestle Sasquatches on Tuesday, but only in tights and yellow boots. Okay. Fibro, really. Jeez, that's a visual. But Sasquatch, you tell me what you think about the elusive Sasquatch. You live closer to it. Well, I think people around here believe in Bigfoot.
Same thing.
Same thing, yeah. Yeti, Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
Dude, okay.
Same as
just as like a precursor, people didn't believe that gorillas were real in like the 1900s, like early 1908, that kind of time. They thought gorillas were a myth. So I'll start there. So could there be a primate that lives in the forest and is super elusive? Absolutely. And people are like, oh, why don't we see the skeletons or something? Man, you ever see a deer skeleton? You ever see a bear skeleton? Like, there's not, and like, we're all over the planet, but we're concentrated in small areas. People don't live in the deep, deep woods. Like, I'm in the woods, and I'm not even in the deep woods.
Right.
So, easily, and I don't know what it's like, okay, I believe that there was giants at one time on the earth. So they could be something like that. Or it could just be that there's different types of humans. Like there's little pygmy dudes who live in Indonesia. You look at the people who are in like, I don't know, the Vikings. They're huge, like 7 feet, and they're like 250, 300 pounds of muscle, long, blank, flowing hair. Could there be like an offshoot of some type of human that lives like just right remote? I don't know, but I do think it's something. I guess I gave all these theories, but I don't know shit. Like I really don't know, but I just do think that there is something out there. Absolutely.
Well, I think it would behoove us to just be ready to say that just because we haven't seen it for ourselves doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I think Big Pig was saying here, I think there's critters out there, national parks and are their own jurisdiction. I think,
and yeah, could they have made the national parks like kind of like an area closed off to them, right?
Yeah. Isles G said, right, Clutch. Why do people call the fire department when a cat is stuck in the tree? Have you ever seen a cat skeleton on the tree? That's true. I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't mean, it doesn't mean
there's no, and like actually there's I don't know how much weight you want to give them, but there's an institution who is found, and they swear they have DNA of the Bigfoot.
I've seen videos of that where they actually found like fur or hair, and it was not canine. It was maybe close to human.
Process the information. They were like, no, we're not going to do, like, it was all weird, and yeah, I don't know.
Well, I know that there are people around here. There's a lot of woods and forests, and people around here, especially like they quote the older sayings of their grandparents. The first thing somebody told me when I moved here was, "Be careful how long you stare into the woods. You might see something stare back." And
it's the same as like the abyss, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they really believe it. Like there's some weird stuff out here, and I thought, well, that's crazy. We start hearing about the Mothman out here and stuff like that. Not kidding. I think I told you about this. Bobby was driving. We were just out for drive to get to know the area, and we saw the biggest freaking bird. I don't know if it was a buzzard or it was not a crow. It was brownish, but when it opened its wingspan, it was bigger than me. And I'm like 5'6". I'm a big girl, and it scared me. And it was still like 30 feet off the road in the forest. And I mean, Bobby was like, "Oh my God," and then we started talking about it. Like, I could see why people think they see Mothman or giants. I mean, there's big animals out there.
Dude, there's huge animals. There's no way. I could give you tons of stories like missing 411 and all these hunters who've gone out and whose stuff has happened to. Even your own president, Theodore Roosevelt, had a story of meeting Bigfoot in the wild.
I never heard of that. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
doubting you. I just never heard that.
Even the Indians, North American Indians, Native people, they've had stories about.
Yes, I've heard that. Like, and then they not only told stories, but they left like drawings or something.
Well, they also would tell hey, be careful. Like I don't know exactly what they call them, but there's something out there. Like they have that, they have Wendigo. I don't think I believe them, dude. I don't think they made that shit up.
Well, they tell those stories to protect their tribe. I mean, I don't know.
Would you we have birds like that, like you were talking about. We have eagles, we have turkey vultures, we have hawks, we have peregrine. There's a lot of big birds out here, and I've seen wingspans that are 6 feet of a bird before. Right. It's huge. Yeah, dude, it's freaky.
Yeah, not gonna lie, about shit myself when I saw it, but it was it's also fascinating when I saw it. Like, wow, now I can see why there are these things that you have to be careful. You have to respect what's out there. You can't be that person on TikTok that's like, oh, look at the bear, I'm gonna go pet him.
Dude, there's no way I'd go into that deep woods, even fully armed. Why? Why would you go deep into I'm talking the real woods. There's no way.
I don't know.
No, there'd have to be some real important reason. I'm not going in there. Fuck
I
that.
agree. I gotta catch up. Fiber Oat said probably there are Sasquatches on one of Dave Weiss's other lands beyond the ice wall.
I know what he's talking about. I don't know. Okay.
I've never heard of that.
So, a lot of people think that there's, even Admiral Byrd talked about it, and there's, I guess a lot of people in history have mentioned, and a lot of people nowadays think that there's, that the realm's bigger than that they're saying, and that there's continents further out that we haven't been to.
Okay.
Beyond the ice wall. A lot of people think we're surrounded by a big giant wall of ice in a circle. And then beyond that's kind of like a tundra, and then another ocean and more land.
Well,
so extra terra. So those would be extraterrestrials, people who come from there.
Wow. Well, I mean, before.
And of the Nordics and do you know about that race of aliens, the Nordics?
Yeah.
Yeah, people think they come from there.
Okay, so that's Dave Weiss, Other Lands. That's something to make note. Let's see. Big Pig just made a comment that I was like, that's a very good. There it is. Many people go missing in national parks annually around America. Okay, that's
America.
America.
I wish I could proudly say that.
Isles G said, what if when a living being, humanoid, lives to 300 years old, they are larger than an 80-year-old, as in keep growing with age? Now,
I know that theory where, it might be Hovind who was talking about that, and that's what he explains the Neanderthals, because he was saying that people would live those biblical ages up to 900, and your forehead keeps growing, your nose keeps growing, your ears keep growing. I know where he's going with that. That's really cool.
I've heard, and well, you see it too. People that are older in age, I've heard that your ears never stop growing. Your ears and your nose. And
I look different than when I was a kid. I'm sure you do. Everyone does. We keep changing, right?
Yeah.
The older I'm getting, I don't look like when I was 20.
That's right. I was about to say, in my case, it's my waistline and my ass, but it still don't look anything like I did when I was 20 either. It's just
imagine living to 400, right? How are you going to look? You're definitely going to change.
and your body ages. I mean, you just yeah.
Yeah, it's who said that? Was it Isles G?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
Super Soda
good
Jerk
point.
said if they got the DNA off my bed sheets, they probably would think it came
Oh.
from a Bigfoot. That's funny
That
because
is-
I've seen his videos, and Super Soda's like a big dude with a beard, you know, like just his own Neanderthal. And I mean that in a loving way, brother. Fiber Oats said probably a dragon. Did it have scales and feathers? Probably because the bird I saw. You know what?
Oh
Fiber-
yeah.
It by the time my story hits my grandkids, it will be a dragon.
Do you think dragons were real?
Not in a sense like we read it in novels with the wings and spit and fire, but I mean,
You ever see that? Oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say we have so many variants of reptiles that we're still discovering. I think that people, especially I've seen Asian writings about describing these dragons that could kill you with a bite, and then Komodo dragons that come around. You know what I mean?
I think they were. I think they was a real thing. Like there's beetles right now that can spit like a chemical fire out.
Do you mean more like an acid, like spit and acid?
I don't know what it was. They probably spit something out. Yeah, it might have been. Maybe it wasn't like actual fire, you know, but
Right.
some kind of burning concoction.
But you think
Probably a really big.
and they flew?
Hell yeah! Like, what do you think? Like, they already admit there was pterodactyls, right? I don't really believe in dinosaurs the way they say they were, but
You that I'm like, really?
but they say there was those types, right? So it's not out of the realm of possibility that there was some kind of big, a big lizard, kind of flying lizard, and it probably got hunted to extinction. It was probably messing with people.
Oh, there's probably hundreds of animals that went into extinction that they never even told us about, or we'll never know.
Yeah. And look at it, crocodiles. Look how big they can get. That's a giant frickin' lizard who could mess you up. It's not spitting anything out and it's not flying, but it's still a monstrous animal.
And they're still finding like sea serpents that are 20, 30, 40 feet long washing on shores. And
there's shit at the bottom of the ocean. They do not know what's going on down there.
Yeah. Washing up on shore and everybody's like, what is that? It's yeah.
Right there, that should tell you that how fake space is, because we can't get to the bottom of our own oceans, but we can get miles and miles into the far reaches of space. Get the fuck out of here. There's no chance.
I think they just wanted the opportunity to say that they've explored Uranus.
Yeah, how long were you holding that in?
Now, come on, man. You know,
just feeding you.
Somebody's talking about we're going to tell people there's this area called space and we're just going to call the planets different things. You know what? Who cares? Let's see if they'll buy into it. Let's call one Uranus and see if it catches on.
Exactly.
Pluto. I want to name one Pluto. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
No, I don't think it's what they describe. I really don't. I think it's something else. And I don't think we can go there the way we are.
I don't think we're ever going to know.
Oh, I think we will.
You think so? I don't think so. I think
when you're dead, you're going to know. I think.
Well, I meant in this lifetime. I should.
Well, you didn't specify.
I did not specify that. Unalived. Once I'm unalived. Good Lord. No, Fiber Oats, to answer your question, it did have feathers. Big brown feathers. I didn't even see a head because I was just in shock. Big Pig said,
that's awesome.
Clutch, I watched some of them. Military folks not being found, but blood, parts of uniforms, guns, but nary sign of the person. Sounds like Predator. Okay, like straight up
crazy, yeah.
He just described sound like a scene out of Predator.
I think it's Mount Shasta. That's like one of the worst ones.
Really?
Pretty sure that's the one.
We used to
I
see that
get
all
them.
the time.
And there's one in the Appalachian. Is there like a really, I can't remember the name of the mountain. Maybe Big Pig knows, but there's one in the Appalachians, I'm pretty sure, that is known for a lot of disappearances too. Disappearances of people.
Oh.
Like Shasta, I'm sure, is one of them too. There's a couple national parks where, yeah, like there's just huge amounts of disappearances. And one weird thing is a lot of them have German heritage. That's a weird little side fact. I don't know what it means, and no one really does, but it's kind of a pattern that people have found.
Wow, there's actually I typed into Bing because Google doesn't come up for me. I typed mountains in the Appalachians where people disappear, and there is just a ton of images of mountains in the Appalachians where people were killed, murdered, disappeared. It's very dark.
Wow. Dude, not only is there like weird, I think, animals that we might not know about, and there might be some kind of weird cryptids, there's also weird cults and like crazy people who just hang out on those trails and in those areas, and they hunt people. They steal from the campers. That's how they survive. They're just raiders.
The hills have eyes stuff. I mean, it's
absolutely.
That's
what I'm saying. Like, I would never go in those areas. What the fuck are people thinking?
Well, and I've heard a phrase before, and I truly believe it. People are scarier than any other phenomena, in this world, because
I know what you mean.
And it's
when I watch like scary movies, the ones that scare me the most are the ones where it's like, let's say, like Devil's Rejects. You ever see that?
No, but now I want to.
That one scares me because it's the people. There's crazy people like that.
Yeah. The Walking Dead. I mean, I know it's fiction, but you know what I mean? Like, you get past the zombies and you're like, okay, now what? Oh, freaking.
It was all the people that were more dangerous.
And now how can you top it? Because now I heard like the series as it goes on, all they ever do is repeat, oh, here's another community that we have to fight and kill, and it's just like.
That's why I gave up on it. It was like rinse, repeat.
Right. Isles G said all civilizations have stories of dragons. None have stories of dinosaurs. My conclusion is dinosaurs and dragons are the same thing. That's kind of what you said. I mean, they use dinosaurs as a description. Like,
here's the thing about dinosaurs. There's not one complete skeleton in existence. The skeletons that you do see are not any of the actual bones. They're plaster and chicken bones ground up. They say that the real bones are too radioactive to display.
What?
They didn't come into existence until like the 1800s from a guy who happened to be, guess what? A Freemason.
So he built.
I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit on dinosaurs. What's that?
So he built reconstructed these bones with his masonry skills.
Well, they find a bone that's maybe a leg bone or an ankle bone or a finger bone, some kind of small bone, whatever. And then they build a whole skeleton around it, and they'll say, like, this is an artist's representation. Right. It's not an actual creature that existed, and then they put that shit in kids' heads, and then you believe it from when you're a little kid. It goes to school. Hey, can you name this one? Can you name that one?
And you go on a little trip to the museum.
That's right.
Yeah, seen that.
And that's why you believe that. But I don't think it's true. Not the way they describe it to me, anyway.
Well, I think that's kind of what Isles G's point is. Let's see. Big Pig said the Giants of Kandahar story, Vietnam critters.
I know. Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
And then he said the old school first night vision for the military. First night vision for the military. Okay, Joe Morgan says, I'm lurking and listening. Just finished my adulting for the day. Okay. Fiber Oat said, men of renown.
Mhm.
Joe says kids look like aliens. Their proportions are goofy. You know, that is true. I noticed that. I don't know. Some kids I see out there, I'm just like, why is his head so big? But I don't want to mess with, their self-esteem and say anything. Big Pig says, Clutch, them are the elusive Mexican taco ant. What is he talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. All right, brother.
He says, tell him, Clutch. Joe says, real talk, Jurassic Park was a cool movie, but they had serious anti-gun undertones. Maybe that's a topic for someday, is all the undertones that are in movies and the subliminal, diversity.
Well, especially Spielberg.
Right.
He's a sick guy.
Yes.
I don't even know if I want to talk about it.
No, I don't, because if we were talking about the little girl from Poltergeist or whatever, I
don't even want to talk about that. No, I don't.
Sick. Let's see. Fiber Oat says, you think dragons are bad? You have no idea how dangerous a group of salamanders can be. When they congregate, bad things happen. What? I've never
This guy's tripping.
A salamander group. There
was something one of those comments back there made me want to touch on something. Now I forget. That's
which comment?
I don't remember.
Kids looking like aliens. Old school first night vision for the military. Giants of Kandahar.
No.
Civilizations have stories of dragons. Yep, Clutch.
No, I lost it.
Oh, well, you'll remember tonight after the show, this talk's over. And let's see, we got missing 411 in the Smoky Mountains National Park.
Smoky Mountain.
That's the one
another one.
Probably, yep.
Yeah,
Joe said, let's see, wait, they put Pluto on Pluto. Check it out. Mickey's dog is on the planet Pluto.
I know.
Super Soda Jerk says he loves Uranus jokes.
Ugh.
Joe said that's because the pressures in the ocean are intense and our metallurgy won't hold up to it. Not my anus. Okay, so let's see. Richard says missing 411. Big Pig says Tennessee / North Carolina border park. Yosemite. Smoky.
That's another one. Yeah.
Yosemite is, yeah.
Shasta, Smoky, and Yosemite. Yeah, those are I think the big three.
Let's see. Isles G said, I'm the scariest thing in the woods. I told myself this 1,000 times while in the Boy Scouts.
That'd be something fun. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go.
No, I'm just going through the comments. What do you got?
No, finish it.
There are loads of missing persons cases in Idaho. Most are because people wander off and get lost. That's a point I was going to touch on as well, is after Isles said something about, Boy Scouts and you guys talking about Smoky Mountains. I remember in Yosemite, they always had kind of like warnings for people that want to hike. They had a list of things that you should do. Tell somebody where the trail is that you're going to go to. Bring along one of these beacons that send your GPS location if you get lost, and all kinds of things. Don't go alone. Go in groups of 5 or more. Blah 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 blah. It's like a huge deal.
I was going to say a good topic would be talking about scary things that's happened to you in the woods. That would be a good topic. Or stories that we find on the internet, stuff. That'd be fun to talk about. But
I would love that. I grew up in the city. So
when you talk about these missing people.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, when you talk about these missing people, you got to break it up into groups. Like, I admit there's all kinds of novices that just wander off and they overestimate their skills. But when we're talking about bushmen or hunters, guys who've been doing it their whole life, they're 50 years old and they've been doing this in the woods their whole life, and weird stuff happens to them. Those are the stories I tend to catch my attention a little bit more.
you know it's got to be something crazy when somebody who is a total survivalist, and I'm not talking about Bear Grylls where he has a camera crew following him, like, these guys that really go out there and survive, and something happens to them. Yeah.
And a lot of times they're in groups.
Right.
Like there's a lot of stories where they just turn their back and dude's gone. No sign of them ever again.
Yeah.
What the heck happened?
That is some weird stuff.
Like, is it like I don't know, if you look up like the effects of magnetism around you, and I think it's granite. Well, it has like a huge magnetic field around it, and it can like distort your perception. Things can look bigger, smaller when inside the field. And I think a lot of those areas have a huge granite deposit. So is it something weird like that? Or is the granite attracting something else? Or is that just like a whole red herring altogether? I don't know, but
we could look
it's interesting.
And share screen or something on that sometime.
Absolutely.
Big Pig said, my family rides in WVA, West Virginia Appalachians.
West Virginia.
Yeah. And on their side-by-sides. I notice people out here have that a lot. Side-by-side. It's like a big golf cart for...
Yeah, like a gator.
Yeah. And their, quote, guide or friend who lies up there came across a house. Two fellas came out chaining them on all fours, running like dogs. See that
some crazy
Whitaker thing going on.
Yeah, the Whitakers. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, right? You know what? You want to know something interesting I learned? There's 2 Whitaker families. Did you know that?
No.
Okay, so there's the ones that everybody knows about with the weird inbred stuff going on. And there's a very wealthy side. Very wealthy. Like they own a $4 million home in a place called Daniels, West Virginia, like at a resort. And it's like a gated community. And they actually had the Whitakers that people have seen on YouTube at the resort. And I guess like at one point, who's the guy that barks? There was one.
I don't know his name.
I don't know either, but there's the one that barks like a dog and doesn't talk. He was in the middle of the road and they were trying to get traffic through. So like the security literally had to go out there and lead him back into their yard. Like a dog. Wild. And I was told this by, people, I guess, that work there. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because it blew my mind that there's actually a second side to this family that won't have anything to do with that other side, for obvious reason. They had a kind of bone wars and tried to one-up each other. Mostly were museum finding the bones. Wow,
that's right, the bone wars. I know what he's talking. Yeah. Who said that?
That's Richard. Richard said that back when Joe Rogan was cool. He showed a paleontologist that Eric Dubé video "Dinosaurs Are Hoax," and the guy snapped.
Yeah, I know what he's. Yeah. Guy lost his shit.
He said they shoot a burning chemical, but their hind ends out their hind ends.
Oh, I think he's talking about the beetle.
Yeah. They shoot a burning chemical out their hind ends. Oh, Greg, my cat does that all the time. Anyone ever hear Jordan Maxwell's story about Steven Spielberg's story? I have not. It's creepy as F.
No, I don't know if I've heard his specific.
Wow,
one.
Everybody's tuning in with stuff, and I'm so behind. Hammerson Peters is a YouTube channel who has some good Canadian stories about Wendigo and people going missing in Canada. Now that sounds like something pretty interesting to watch. Richard G suggested that. Fiber, yeah, that one stands out in my memory back when Rogan wasn't so overtly shill-like. And then Fiber says
He sold out for sure.
Yeah, I feel like he did.
Man, and any one of us, like, I know they probably showed up at his door with a shit ton of money, right? I understand, but he sold his soul.
I think so too. I've heard. I was never a fan to begin with, but I saw the changes. You know what I mean? Like I saw a few things here and there when he first started. You know, and I think
even the moon landing, he was totally. He showed all the bullshit about the moon landing,
right?
And now he's like, no, I was wrong.
I will be benevolent. I will comply.
He loves his lizard emperor overlords.
Yes. we can't say unalive, but we could say that. Yeah.
I know, isn't that? Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
Yeah, interesting chat today, actually.
Yeah, I had fun.
No, I mean the actual chat. I mean, like our chat, the people talking.
Those guys?
Yeah, they have interesting.
I love it. We gotta name our chat buddies like the Peanut Gallery or something. I mean, everybody.
That's lame.
Good. Well, you know what I'm saying, like because everybody pitches in like different things. It's not just like an echo chamber. I mean, we have people that agree, disagree, throw in new ideas, and it's fun.
Oh, I love it.
That's why I like going back and forth over there and reading their comments, and then some of the other things that are said are funny too. Merca. Here in Merca.
What else they got?
Just a few more about Rogan and Elon share a motherboard together. Rogan pulled a Raichi with the moon landing.
Just some person in the.
Oh, okay.
Who used to believe something and switched.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
That was Richard that said that, and then Fiber Oat said, "I thought Raichi retired from Flat Earth."
Exactly.
So this is another YouTuber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to believe in Flat Earth and then switched back to believing in the globe. She.
Oh, she came around?
I guess that's one way of saying it.
I'm hilarious.
Oh, I got it. Pun intended.
Yes.
Took me a second.
Okay, sorry. Random Hero is here. Random Hero said, yeah, he realized how silly he was being, just like Raichi. She was reassigned to Globe.
Globe?
Okay.
Globe, probably.
Okay. I was too busy laughing. My eyes were blurry. I'm like, that does say Glob, right? But
the Glob.
I'm still stuck on how good that joke was. Anyways.
It was pretty good. It took me a second, but
I'll pat myself on the back for you.
It was good. That was good.
Okay. Well, that's all. That's everybody's comments. I mean,
awesome.
Dang.
Oh, there we go. We did almost an hour and a half this time.
That's right. But
Not bad at all.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up, dude. And like I said, I don't know what my schedule is going to be this weekend yet. And as soon as I know, what I'll do is I'll post a video, like a short, on this channel and let you guys know. And well, I'll talk to you about it first, obviously, and see when we can do another talk.
Yeah.
Maybe Friday. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
You let me know.
I don't really have much going on, so yeah.
Because it's always dark out.
Yeah.
That was
Bummer.
stupid. Never mind.
Now I'm sad.
Well, if the snow, if like 10 feet of snow fall, you're not going anywhere. So.
Heck no.
We'll have more opportunity to talk again.
Sounds good.
Big Pig says y'all be good, and Fiber Oats is still talking about moon landings, and
nice.
That's about it. So we're gonna sign off, guys. Thanks for joining us, and I'll let you guys know when we'll have our next talk. I'll post a short. Okay.
Later.
Okay. Later.